On this video, we're going to explain how to use the two refrigerated syringe dispenser heads with two head lowering adapters. We're going to show you this on the Hyrel 3D ESR Engine Standard Resolution. There will be a water pump included with your shipment, and you will have to provide some water reservoir. A 5-gallon bucket is more than enough. Step 1 is to take the two electrical adapters. They're the same except one of them has the wires tied pointing down and one of them has them sort of loose. The one with the wires tied down will go on the right side, so you're going to use tool position number 3. And always tighten the thumb screw in the back to lock that adapter in place. The other one with the loose wires is going to be in slot number 1. And again, lock it in place. Next, we're going to take the head lowering gibs. These are the same. We're going to put one in position number 2 and one in position number 4. These will drop all the way through, so make sure you hold them carefully and tighten it in place when you have it what you think is low enough. You can adjust it further up or down later on. Repeat the same process with the other one in position number 4. Try to get them even. Now the next section, we're going to take the heads. There's a little guide or a cover plate that covers the syringe. You can remove it by pinching and pulling it off. That'll let you take the syringe out to load it, unload it, whatever. We're going to start on the left in position number 2, and we're going to load this head in that little gib section on the bottom. If you do the head in number 4 first, it's going to block your adjustments. So start on the left. We do suggest that you power everything down, not the tablet, but power the printer down when you make these connections because we don't want to have any problems. Take that loose cable from position number 1, make sure it's oriented properly, and plug it into the bottom of the left head. So this is going to just connect electronically this head to tool 1 even though the head's in tool 2. The little gibs on the bottom are going to go into the base of that extrusion. Don't pinch your wires. Set it all the way down and then use a 3mm driver from the side to lock this head into the gib. Now we're going to repeat these steps with the other head and put it in position number 4, connecting it to the electrical connector for position number 3. Orient it, put it in the same way, physically load the head all the way down, careful the wires don't get pinched, and again take your driver and lock that head into place, even if it's not shown on the video. It's important that you don't operate these heads unless you have water flowing through, because the peltiers will overheat and you'll damage everything. So there are going to be 2 tubes hanging off of each head. One's an in and one's an out. So we're going to chain these in series. We're going to take the output from the pump. That's going to go to the input on head 2. Then the output from head 2 is going to go to the input on head 4. The output from head 4 will go back to the pump reservoir. So you want all these connected and the pump to be in the water before you power the pump up. So let's show you from the back. We're going to take head 2 output and use this little connector so that it goes into the head 4 input. We have a little clips there to guide where the hoses are. So the water is going to come in from, it's going to be the pump output into head 2, then it's going to come out of head 2 into head 4, and right now we're connecting the output from head 4 to this loose hose that goes back into the reservoir. We're going to plug in the pump so it turns on, and now the pump is forcing water through these tubes. You want to wait till the water goes through all these tubes, see it traveling, and then comes back out and returns to the pump, to the bucket. Now we know that it's working properly and we're ready to power it back up. Don't use these heads if you don't have the water flowing, and make sure that there's no leak where you made your connectors. Obviously you don't want water spraying all over your printer. While you're doing your print, you do want to check or listen for the pump from time to time to make sure that something hasn't gone wrong. We see the heads show up as T1, T0 and T3, but it's really right. It's the far left head, position 1, T0, and the third one, position 3, it's T2, logically. Now we have to run the extra 12 volt power. So this red and black cable with the yellow ends is called an XT30 connector for 12 volts. We're going to plug the single end of this pigtail right on the yoke, and then with the other two ends we're going to use that to connect to the matching cables on both of the heads. Now we do want to be careful with the cable management, so you may have to reconfigure this. We don't want anything to hang up as the heads move back and forth on the y-axis during your prints. So we've included some zip ties, and you can always get more. We're going to use that to pin these wires up out of the way, but we have to have these up out of the way so that nothing hangs on the back of the printer when the yoke slides forward. And there should be plenty of slack on those two tubes for the water that the head can go all the way forward and all the way back. Now that you have your wires tied up out of the way, nice and neat, you can tie it just to the head there if you want, so that it's not flopping around. You want everything nice and clean, nothing that can get caught or pinched or anything like that. We have powered the printer up. Always double check to make sure that the water and the pump are still running, because we don't want to operate these heads without the water flowing. Now we're going to home our XY, make sure that there's nothing pinched or caught anywhere. It all looks good. Then we go to park position, everything's fine. Now, since the water's running, we've already turned the cooling on for head 1 and head 3, the left and the right, and we can see it's already well below room temperature. And they're at 10. Now they're going down to 9. The other one's at 9, one's at 8. So everything's working like it should. Note that you still have to put your nozzles. We have little lure tips on the bottom of the syringes. You do want to do some fine adjustment and make sure that both nozzles are at the same horizontal position, the same Z0. And that means you might need to adjust one of the heads a little bit up or down. If you need to, just do the whole gib adjustment, that whole silver extrusion up or down to get them to the same position. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Hyrel3d@gmail.com.